Hello everyone, this is CS Saumil from Unique Global Education. We welcome you all in today's one more wonderful podcast. Are you one of the aspiring student who is looking to do other courses beyond the traditional Indian courses apart from CA, CS, CMA, BCom, MBA? If yes, then this podcast is for you. Guys, as you already know, India has been in the stage of transformation since the last 30 years now. And we have been one of the most fastest growing economy in the world. So guys, as you already know, India has been a very fast growing economy since the last 30 years. And the preferences in the job market have also been changed. The preferences, the shift of the education market and the job market, the career aspects have already been changing. And you are already aware about that. So the most important aspect nowadays that there are many international courses which are going very popular and the importance of it has been increasing a lot as well. There are many international courses, but leading the way in management and accounting is of course CMA US. So what is CMA US? What it has in it for you and why so many people are wanting it? To know about this, we have an expert with us, Mr. Brian Hock. So Brian Hock, the esteemed president of Hock International, with over 2 decades of experience, he has guided a number of students in achieving their CMA and CIA certification. He has been empowering a lot of students, a lot of professionals through his clear understanding, through his guidance, through his in-depth knowledge. So here we have with us the expert and we are honored to have with you today.
That's
Brian.
my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So how was your journey to Pune?
Wonderful. Beautiful city. Yes, this is my second time here and I was looking forward to coming back. So
Great.
I'll be back again.
Perfect. When you visited first time?
Probably about a year and a half ago. I think.
Just a year and a half year.
Yeah, year and a half ago.
Perfect. Any favorite spots in Pune as of now?
No, not specifically. What I like is that it's a beautiful town and it's not a huge town. And so it's a little more personable, a little more human, I guess, than any big city in the world. And so it's just calmer and relaxing here.
Perfect. Have you tried any local food here?
I do. To be honest, the biggest issue for me is the spice. I'm not a person who likes spicy food, and so this is sometimes a challenge. And I've learned that what you think is not spicy might be different than what I think is not spicy, and so.
No problem. I think one of our teammate Aditya was suggesting that we should make you try misal pav, but I don't think
probably not. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to say no.
If we go for dinner tonight, I'll show you what it is.
Okay. So I'll watch you enjoy it.
I enjoyed a lot. So apart from CMAs, before we start with it, there are many other things going on. Few other questions apart from CMAs. So have you heard about Coldplay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Coldplay is a band, of course,
right?
And they have visited one of the biggest spiritual
event in India. Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah. So I was just curious to know if you're aware about that and any plans to go there.
Not to go there, but it would be a wonderful place to go, I'm sure.
Yeah,
wonderful time to go.
I think Ashish sir, we should plan for that and take you to Mahakam. Okay. So let's come on to the questions of CMA US. We have gathered many important questions from the students, the aspirants, the YouTube viewers, which the people who are connected with us. I'll start with those questions.
Yep.
Okay. First one. So, sir, the CMA US certification has become a powerful tool, helping professionals with the skills to meet global economic demands. How do you think CMA US certification benefits both the Indian and global economies?
Well, I think one of the things that is so fundamental about CMA that benefits everyone who, India, US, Canada, any country, is that what CMA covers is practical, fundamental how a business operates. Everything that's on the CMA exam is something that every company should do, and if they're not, they should be. And so what that enables anybody who's studying it is what they learn in CMA is what they need to be successful at work. Now, there's a difference between understanding it theoretically, the knowledge that we get on the exam, and then being able to apply that at work. But what CMA gives all of the candidates who are studying for it is that a very good, strong foundation of knowledge that they're able to take into work, whether it's their first job or a few years of experience, and add value to the organization by understanding what the organization is trying to do and being able to help them do that. And CMA is not something that provides the greatest depth of any individual topic, but it provides the foundation and the background for a person to really know what questions need to be asked.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know all of the details about this, but I know that something doesn't seem right. Something, I'm not certain we're doing this the best way possible. And so it's the knowledge, the practical, realistic knowledge about how a business operates. And one way to show that is if somebody wants to start their own business, if somebody's their own entrepreneur, what you learn in CMA is what you need to be able to do to operate your business successfully. From budgeting to costing, to talking about how you set the price for the product or service that you're going to provide, the basics of accounting, the basics of understanding the cost of money and borrowing money. All of that is how a business operates, what a business needs, and that's what candidates learn when they're passing CMA.
Okay, perfect. So I think it is helpful for entrepreneurs as well, because what I feel from what you said is that it's a whole package of learning that how to run a business and all the fundamentals of accounting and management.
Yep.
Is it correct?
Yeah, it's how a business operates and the decisions that management needs to make while they're operating a business.
Perfect. So does it try to bridge the gap between the theoretical knowledge and the practical knowledge, or the practical aspects which are required to be done in the business?
Well, I think it provides the knowledge, the skills, the tools as the foundation.
Okay.
Obviously, anything that we learn in a classroom, anything that we learn on an exam, there's the reality element of it in terms of how it works in a business, and every industry is a little bit different and businesses operate a little bit differently, but it gives us the tools to be able to address successfully those questions and issues that we have when we're working.
Perfect. I think that would be fine for the viewers who are watching. I'll move on to the second question. Yeah. The second one is, see, in this today's world, people are too much busy, too much tied up with the work, and there are many working professionals as well. Of course, everyone wants to upgrade, and many of the people are working as well. Many of the students are just doing some kind of graduation, and they want to pursue CMA US. But the thing is, they get stuck sometime, how to prepare for it, how to structure it, how to go for this course. So what advice you would give to both students and working professionals on how they should strategize their preparation for the CMA US exam?
Well, I think one of the most fundamental things that a candidate needs to do is to determine when during the week they're going to study.
Okay.
As soon as you decide to study a professional certification, you no longer really have the question of free time, because you always could be studying. You wake up and you could study before you go to work or to class or whatever. You come home, you could study. Any time you're not doing something else, you could be studying. And what happens is that just becomes mentally difficult because it's always there.
Okay.
But if you sit down and you say, I'm going to study Monday night and Wednesday night, and I'm going to attend class on Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm going to study Saturday morning, or whatever those blocks of time are that you are studying, what that does is it allows you to enjoy the rest of the week, the rest of the time.
Okay.
If you set aside 12, 15, 20 hours of studying, depending on what else you have that you're doing, there's a lot of other time that you're not studying. And if you don't have the time, every night your friend calls and says, hey, do you want to go to the cricket match? And you say, well, sure, but you think I could be studying.
Okay.
But when you have a schedule of when you're going to study, all the time you're not studying, you can enjoy.
Correct.
You don't have to think about it because, hey, I know when I'm going to study. It's Monday night, it's Wednesday night, it's Friday morning. I'll not study the other times. And so whether you're working at school, whatever the case is, you need to be able to separate when is study time from when is not study time. If you don't do that, all the time is study time. And that just becomes mentally difficult to deal with, and you give up. But if you set aside, this is the time I'm going to study, this is the time I'm not going to study, that's a schedule that we can maintain, and that's the schedule that's going to allow us to move systematically through the content.
Perfect.
And be ready to pass the exam.
Perfect. So I think this applies to every other course or every other preparation anyone is doing.
It really applies to anything you want to accomplish. Whatever it is, whether it's an exam or a hobby or whatever, set aside the time that you're going to do that.
Perfect. So do you do it for yourself as well, for your work?
Yes, I do. If I've got projects, I go, and I know that from experience, if I don't say this is the time today that I'm going to work on this larger project, I won't.
Okay.
Because I know that, between when I start working and 2 hours later, things come up. There's different things you weren't expecting come up. And so it's really anything that you want to do, you need to make it a priority and set aside the time that you're going to do it.
Perfect. So I think it's all about the perfect schedule which you make which you are required to make, and then follow it consistently, and that is the key. That's a strategy
For anything.
for anything. So I'll move on to the next question. From your perspective, how can this flexibility? Actually, the thing is, we have seen hundreds of students who are trying to appear for this exam, but there is a flexibility that you can give the exams in the another attempt, or after 2 months, after 3 months. So many of the students are just postponing it. They are like, we will give it the other time. So this is a flexibility which is given for CMA US exams. According to you, as per your perspective, this can be a blessing as well as a curse. So what is your perspective on it? And how could we encourage students that they should not postpone it?
It's more a curse than a blessing.
Okay.
Because I think more people tend to be postponing and procrastinating than proactive about it. And so one of the reasons that a lot of candidates, I think, postpone and choose to go into the next exam window is that they want to be 110% prepared. They want to be able to go in and say, I've done everything that could possibly be done to prepare for the exam. And what they're doing is they're allowing perfection to get in the way of progress. The goal isn't to get every question on the exam correct. That's not realistic. It's not what we want to do. We need to be prepared. And so if a candidate has prepared seriously, has prepared properly, and what that means is they come to class, come to your class, they ask questions, they read the book, they do the practice questions. If a candidate has done that, and the candidate knows, they may not want to share it, but deep inside they know whether they have been studying seriously or not. If they have been studying seriously, they know more than they think they do.
Okay.
The good candidate, the dedicated candidate, tends to focus on the details they don't know rather than the huge amount of content that they do know. And so it's a matter of recognizing that the benefit starts when we pass the exams and we're able to get that job and start utilizing it. So every time we push into the next exam window, we delay passing.
Right.
We delay the benefit.
Perfect.
We increase the amount of time we've invested in this certification. And so we prepare seriously. We have a target. We say, I'm going to take the exam in this window. We build out our plan for that. And even if we're not 110% prepared, we're ready. We're going to pass the exam. We're going to be comfortable and confident passing the exam. And so it's kind of the mindset that we're not going to know everything. We don't need to over-prepare, but we have a plan. We did it. We had our schedule. We followed that schedule. We are ready. And keeping in mind that the benefits come when we pass it.
Perfect. So how much preparation, percentage of preparation, it may be 70, 80, 90% according to you, might be good enough for the students, if you would like to tell them?
Really, they need to do 100% of the preparation. And 100% of the preparation is you've studied all the content.
Okay.
Now, it's possible that you study and you get to you're in part 2, section B, and you think, hedging, puts and calls and protective puts and protective calls. You just never really got that.
Correct.
That's fine.
Okay.
If it might not be on the exam, if it is on the exam, it's a question, maybe 2 questions. That's okay.
Okay.
You're fine. You don't need to have every topic perfect, but you want to know, you want to have prepared for everything. One of the other ways to look at it is every topic has basic level of knowledge, just the foundation, definitions, terms. So even in that question, in the topic of hedging, even if we don't understand puts and calls, we do want to understand what hedging is, why we do it, the different tools that are used to do that. Because when we get that question about hedging on the exam, it might be a very basic question.
Correct.
And so when we're going through and we're saying how much do we want to be prepared for, we want to have prepared all of it.
Okay.
Now, we may decide that these details about this topic and these details about this topic aren't necessary for us to spend 16 more hours to try to understand.
Yeah.
But we want to make certain that we have the basic level of knowledge in all of the topics. That's what most of the questions are going to cover, and so we want to be ready for those.
Great, perfect. So I think that's a great advice for students and the viewers and who are going to appear for CMA US, that you don't need to be perfect in all the topics, but if you are preparing, I think 80, 90, 95% of the topic, even that is sufficient to appear for the exams, and you can definitely try to clear the exams. Perfect. I'll move on to the next question then. A very interesting question, and that is about artificial intelligence. Now we all hear about there is something called as artificial intelligence. We have ChatGPT. So we have a new AI tool from China as well, which has caused a great disruption. So people are looking at it that AI can eat the jobs, it can eat many of the professionals. But this is again a generic term. Everyone says that it might reduce the job. But from CMA US point of view and or the accounting or finance part of view, how do you think it is going to impact the employment, the job opportunities?
For people that are studying CMA, not very much. And if anything, it would impact it positively. AI is going to eliminate jobs.
Okay.
And when we say AI, it's all the tools and everything that's created out of it. But the jobs that are going to be eliminated aren't the jobs that we're trying to get if we're becoming a CMA.
Okay.
Data entry jobs, data manipulation jobs, those may disappear. And that's fine. If we're studying CMA, that's not the job we wanted anyway. We want to have the job that uses the data, that makes the decision. And so the way I would look at AI if I'm studying CMA is that this is a tool that I'm going to have to know how to use. Somebody said a year ago, and I like this, you're not going to lose your job to AI, but you might lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI better than you do.
Okay.
And the parallel I draw, and it may not be perfect, is Excel, spreadsheets. Okay, when I was finishing university, I put on my resume that I knew how to use a spreadsheet and I knew how to use a word processor.
Perfect.
That was new. Not everybody did.
Yeah.
I was fortunate I'd had that exposure. Now, if you try to get a job without knowing how to use Excel, you're not going to get a job
Correct.
without knowing how to use Excel. And so the tools that are coming with AI are those next tools that we need to know how to use. We're not ready yet for AI to make the decision. We're not ready yet for AI to do that type of analysis. AI is going to help us sort the data, use the data, all the different data analytics tools that are available. But it really requires a person to put all of these pieces together to make the decision. So as we study CMA, those are the knowledge and the skills and the tools that we're going to be able to use with AI.
Perfect.
Not instead of AI, but with AI. We're going to get more information available to us, better information available to us. But it's still, how do we take that information? One of the things that, we have quantitative and qualitative information and decisions.
Yeah.
And yes, AI is getting into the qualitative, but it's still a talented manager, a talented decision maker who's able to take the data, take the reports, and put that together with what's happening in the market, what competitors are doing, what the next technological step is going to be, what the next production process is going to be, and taking all of those qualitative elements of the decision and put all of that together. So you need to be able to use the tools that AI is creating, use the information that it's able to help us sort through. But it's AI by itself is not going to prevent you from having a job as a CMA. If your goal was just to be data entry the rest of your life, you might need plan B going forward. But trying to be that decision maker, the person using the data, your job will still be there if you know how to use the tools that are available.
Perfect. I think you don't need to fear from AI. You need to fear from the person who knows AI. And we need to use AI as a tool. We need to learn it. And of course, it is going to complement in your journey, not just in CMA US, but in all the fields on the all the work you are doing in that it will help you. Perfect, sir?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. The fifth one. Many students are concerned about return on investments after they are registering for CMA US. Given your extensive experience in the field, what advice would you offer to CMA aspirants to enhance their career prospects and ensure they secure meaningful employment opportunities post certification?
I'll start by talking about the return on investment. One of the things that we do when we think about return on investment is we do it financially.
Perfect.
This is how much money I invested, and this is how much money I'm going to make going forward. And that's fine, and we could do that. But I think it's also important, and this gets back to the postponing of exams, that we look at ROI not only from a financial standpoint, but a time standpoint.
Correct.
How much time we invest to study, and how much time it's going to provide benefit for us. And so it's possible if somebody's focused that you can pass both parts of CMA in 12, 18 months. So let's say 18 months.
Yeah.
The benefits that you get from CMA are going to last the rest of your career.
True.
30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
So if we look at what the ROI is based on time, 30 years divided by 1.5 years, that 20.
Correct.
Okay, an ROI of 20. And so when we're looking at postponing exams, what that's doing is it's increasing the amount of time that we're investing and decreasing the amount of time to benefit from it.
Correct.
And so as we postpone, as that 18 months becomes 2 years and it becomes 2.5 years, that ROI from a time perspective gets smaller. Now, in terms of what it's doing for our career, CMA is building the foundation. The skills and the tools and the knowledge that we need to go into the workplace and add value for our company. And so that foundation of what we know is what's going to allow us to build our career. If we don't know the basics of ratio analysis and finance and accounting, it's going to be really hard to go into a company and add value in the accounting or finance function. And so the thing to keep in mind in terms of this ROI and how it is that CMA is going to help you in your career is this is the foundation for the rest of your career.
Perfect.
And we need that foundation to be a strong foundation and a broad foundation. And that's what CMA is. It's a practical foundation, accounting, management accounting, finance, internal controls, ethics, all of those things that we need. It's giving us tools, the foundation to build our career off of.
Perfect. So it is not just in the terms of monetary terms, it's also in the time terms which you are putting the amount of time you're giving in it.
Right. And also in terms of monetary, even if we want to think about how it is that we are going to benefit from it, if we go into our career looking at salary, what's my salary? If I go to this company, what's my salary? If I go to that company, what's my salary? If instead we start looking at how can I add value to the company I work for, the more value we add, the more salary we're going to make. And so we need that opportunity. If we're just out of university, we're getting that first job, it's important to start working. Don't hold out for a vice president position right out of university. It's not going to happen. Get a job, start working, add value to that organization. And the more value we add to where we work, the more compensation we're going to get.
Perfect. So CMA US gives you the equipment so that you can add value to the company, right?
And that's how our compensation comes.
Okay, perfect. Great. So this was about the returns which for which the people are thinking about, that how we are going to invest, how much we are going to invest, how much returns we are going to get. So this is the perfect answer, I think. I'll move on to the next question now. How does the experience of pursuing CMA US differ for an American student compared to an Indian student in terms of cost, job opportunities, recognition, and overall career prospects?
Well, in terms of preparation, the difference between a candidate studying in the US and a candidate studying in India is that in the US, unique doesn't exist. There aren't training academies in the US that are teaching classes. And so in the US, CMA is, maybe there are some places, but it's largely a self-study process. And so that difference is in the US, you're on your own. And here in India, unique is here. You have the support that the structure, the infrastructure, the instructors, the answers that are there. And so there's just much more of a support structure to help candidates get through the exam. In terms of what it means for employment and getting a job, it's really the same everywhere in the world in getting that first job, in that you need to find the company that's looking for the skills that you have.
Okay.
And there are some companies where they know CMA, and you walk in and you say, I have CMA. And they say, great, we're looking for you.
Oh.
Come on in. But then there's other companies where you say, I have CMA, and they say, what's that? Okay, maybe they even think it's Indian CMA here. And it's interesting that when you interview for a company that does not know about your certification, that's actually a good thing. Okay. This is a good opportunity to get the job. And this is how. When we interview for a job, it's more than just technical skills. They're not going to ask you what's the journal entry to sell a fixed asset. Maybe they do, but that's not the only thing. To get that job, communication skills are incredibly important. Okay. If you know something but you can't communicate it to somebody else, it doesn't do you any good. So when you're in the interview and the person says, tell me about US CMA, this is your chance to do two things. One, to demonstrate to the company that you have the skills that they need for the job you're interviewing for. This is your chance to tell them, this is what I studied, and this is how it matches with this job position. This gives me the knowledge I need to do the job you're looking to hire for. And the second thing it allows you to do is to demonstrate your communication skills. This is what CMA is. This is what I learned. This is how it benefits you. So if you go through that process and are able to, in a few minutes, clearly communicate in a structured manner, demonstrate the benefits to the company, not only have you shown them you have the technical debit and credit knowledge that they need, but you also have the communication skills. Perfect. And it's that lack of communication skills that is often the reason people don't get the job.
Okay.
They may have the technical knowledge, but if you can't communicate it. And so that job interview where you have to explain what US CMA is your opportunity to do both of those things. Show them that you have the technical skills for the job and you have the communication skills.
Perfect. So only technical skills does not matter. Communication
skills are a big part of it. Yeah.
And presentation as well, I think.
Yep.
One question popped up in my mind, sir, that you have been associated with UNIC since last 1.5 years, I think, with UNIC Global Education, with Ashish sir and the other faculties. How has been your experience with UNIC and with the faculty?
Very good. It's something that we know that there's a system, there's a process, there's support for the students, the good teachers, a plan. And so we love working with UNIC, and it's great to work with people that are committed to helping the students pass the exam.
Perfect. So, perfect. Yeah. It's great to hear that. And I didn't know that in US there are no much of the classes and much of the academies who are teaching students, so they are on self-study mode.
It's mostly self-study. My father was an accounting professor, and I remember when I was a child, he would actually go to different cities to teach live-taught CPA classes. But that was before video. And so now that videos are so easily made and watched and distributed, I think 99.9% of the exam preparation is self-study.
Okay, great. I think we need to plan a webinar or seminar in US
Yes.
soon. And with this a global course, so of course we can connect with them.
Yep.
So yes, so moving on to the next question. With a growing trend of outsourcing in India, how do you see CMA US certification providing a competitive edge for Indian professionals in securing high quality job opportunities, both domestically and internationally?
Well, it comes down to the fact that if somebody is outsourcing their business here, the ultimate client is there. And if it's a US company that's outsourcing, they're looking to outsource to somebody who speaks the same language and has the same foundation. And so by language, I mean the language of business and the same terminology and understanding. And so if I'm looking to be an outsource for US companies, CMA is exactly what they're looking for. They know what it is, they know what it means, and the terminology is the same. And so that international element of what CMA is, it's known everywhere. But from that outsource standpoint, it's the comfort and the ease for the company in the US that's outsourcing here to know that the person is qualified in a way that they understand.
Perfect, perfect. So that is really going to help, I think, because it is a global course and it is same all over the world. So if any of the companies approaching us, it is 100% going to help us because we are already aware about all the terms. Great. Okay, so moving on to the next question now. Next one is, what role do networking and professional organizations play in advancing one's career, particularly for international job seekers?
It's a huge part of it, and it's something that a lot of young professionals don't understand and realize soon enough.
Okay.
IMA has a chapter here in Pune. That group of people, they know CMA, they appreciate CMA, they value CMA, and they are the finance directors and the senior people in other organizations. And so one of the things that helps us find a job in the future is who we know.
Okay.
And whether or not that person that you met at the IMA chapter is going to hire you directly, they may know somebody who's looking to hire and recommend you to that person or make that introduction. And so a lot of job placement after your initial placement out of university is who you know. And are you able to find the right person, and are they able to put you in front of the right person? And so the bigger that network that you have, the better off you are. And one of the easiest ways to network is through your professional organization. IMA has a meeting, you go. And you've networked immediately with people that value the education and the certification that you have. And it's a network that's just waiting for you to walk in and become part of it.
Perfect. So the person has to be at the right place who knows your worth actually.
Right.
Can we say network is net worth? Is it?
Yep, absolutely. Your network is your net worth. Obviously, there's other parts of it too, but your network is a big part of it. Who you know, as you go up in your career, as you grow in your career, that network and the people you know and the businesses you know, it's a big part of it, yes.
Perfect. I think it's going to help a lot. Just don't focus on studies, also focus on communication, guys, also on presentation, and network is as important as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question. So with the rising competition among professionals where some hold CMA US along with CPA, FRM or even CS, what additional skills or areas can a CMA US professional focus on to distinguish themselves and create a unique space in the market while maintaining the value of their CMA US certification alone?
CMA is a very good, what I call foundational certification, and I've used foundation a lot in this. But by that I mean it's accounting, it's finance, it's consulting. There's a lot of doors that are opened with CMA. And sometimes we have a desire, a lot of candidates have a desire as soon as they finish CMA to get their next certification. And I'm not sure that's always the best course of action. Sometimes what we need to have is a little work experience and not just book experience. And so most people will get another certification in their career. But after you finish CMA, take a couple of years, work, take the knowledge and the theory that you learned and activate it into what it is that you do at your job. And then as your career begins to take a course into accounting or finance or internal audit or treasury or whatever it is, your next certification is the certification you need for that specialty. What is the direction your career is going? And after a couple of years, you say, okay, this is where I am today. In 2 years, what position do I think I'm going to have? And what certification do I need for that position? And so the thing about choosing a certification is you don't choose a certification based on where you are today. You choose a certification based on where you want to be in 2 years or 3 years. And you choose the certification that's going to give you the knowledge and the skills and the tools to do that job that you want next. And so CMA is a very, very, very good foundation. After you get that foundation, work for a little bit, then find out what is that next certification that's going to help you take that next step in your career.
Perfect. I think that's a great advice. You need to bridge the gap between what is actually required and what you like to do. Don't just do what you like. You also have to see what is required in the market, what is the demand in the market, and it will help you a lot in growing and in increasing your career prospects. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Last question, sir. So the professionals who are considering dual certifications, such as CMA US along with CPA or any other Indian course, how should they balance becoming a subject matter expert versus developing a broader generalized skill set?
This is it's maybe not the $1 million question, but it's an important one. And the question is, should I be a generalist or a specialist?
Yeah.
And you can find people that argue either. Some say, oh, you need to be a specialist because the world is changing and you have to. And the way I look at it is kind of, as you go up in your career, you tend to specialize.
Okay.
So you have your job in accounting and then you become something else. But at the same time, when you get to a certain level in the organization, you have to become a generalist again.
Okay.
The CFO isn't looking only at accounting or only at finance. They're looking at every part of the business.
Perfect.
And so you start as a generalist. When you begin your career, you specialize a little bit at some point. But then if you get into a leadership role, you have to take that specialty and broaden back out to the fact that your role is now more than just accounting or finance. You have more of a global role to the organization as a whole. And so specialist or generalist, it kind of depends on where you are in your career and what it is that you want to do. If you like taxes, well, tax by itself is kind of a specialty.
Correct.
And now even within tax, there's different areas of tax, corporate tax or individual tax or whatever the case may be. And so a taxation career may lead you to become a very, very narrow specialist.
Correct.
Other career paths lead to something that's a little more general in terms of what it is that you need to do to be successful. So unfortunately, the answer to generalist or specialist changes as you go through your career and may depend on what your career path is and what industry you're in, which is what makes it exciting.
Perfect.
That each person does have uncertainty, or well, not uncertainty, but there's mystery in the future. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, and we have the power to make those decisions that move us in one direction or another.
Perfect. So I'm into taxation only. Yeah.
No? So you know what I mean? That's a specialty, and within taxation there are specialties.
True.
Right.
Okay, perfect. So it all depends upon the position on which you are working and what is required, of course. But I think it is all about how Sir said that you need to be generalized as well as specialized as per the requirements. Where you are, what is the requirement. Perfect, sir. Okay. So these are the questions from my end.
Right.
Would you like to add something or want me to ask something so that viewers would be able to?
No, those were good questions, and so I think nothing to add.
Okay. Yeah. So these were all the questions. These were all the fantastic answers from Mr. Brian Hock. And apart from that, if you want to ask anything, you want to get in touch with us, please leave a comment below. Also, you'll be getting some Google Forms and other things. You can definitely get in touch with us so we can guide you one-to-one on a one-to-one basis. And it was wonderful meeting you, sir. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
We would like to see you again in Pune
I'd love
with
to
us.
come back.
Any plans as of now when you're coming?
I don't know when, but yes, I will be back.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be waiting for you, sir, and hope to see you soon if we visit US sometime soon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.